Hi, my name is Oliver Pomeran and I'm an author. I'm a comedian and I'm a teacher as well, in that order.
My name is David and I work in performance and prop making. Often there's kind of sometimes dances in the midst of what I do as an artist.
My name is Abdullah M.I. Sayed. I was born in Pakistan and migrated to Australia 6 years ago. By profession, I'm a designer come artist.
My name is Maria. I'm 28 years old. I live in Fairfield and I'm a filmmaker / community cultural development practitioner. So I work a lot within the community, working in schools, working just in different groups, just developing sort of transmedia and film projects.
My name is Ali Kadim. I'm 26 years old and I'm the founder of Team 9 Lives. We're an organisation and a group that's devoted to filmmaking, live shows and movement training.
I'm Richard Petkovich. I'm behind something called the Cultural Arts Collective, which is a business that works with artists and communities across different art forms to create interesting and distinctive cultural content, basically, and a lot of it's in Western Sydney.
I'm Jessa and I'm actually studying at the moment at COFA, so I'm doing my Masters of Art majoring in painting. I work with mainly traditional media, so at the moment I'm working on watercolour paintings and charcoal drawings. I think I've always been creative, so I've always loved drawing and painting. And it's just another way for me to communicate.
I've been involved in movement my whole life, and so for the past 10 years I've been training in parkour, which is the art of overcoming obstacles in your environment, trying to get from one point to another as fast and as fluidly as possible, but also being creative and challenging the mind and overcoming obstacles internally as well. So for us, it's all about expression and trying to get young people to just be free and to learn that they have what it takes to overcome all the boundaries that we have to face on a day-to-day basis.
For almost 1.5 years, I didn't tell my father or mother or anyone that I was actually doing art, not science. But it was just when I started winning more awards that I told them, and they were all happy for that and said that as long as you want to do that, then we are happy for it.
I always wanted to be a writer. When I was a kid, I loved the books. I loved reading books. I was one of those bookish people that just kept reading books all the time. And I thought being an author would be the best job in the world. My parents had other ideas though, but I kept through it, and I was really influenced by Seinfeld and a lot of stand-up comedians, and so I wanted to be a comedian as well. And then once going to university, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to pursue writing, but I need a backup. So I chose teaching, thinking that it was going to be 9 to 3. I'll finish work and I'll be able to write, but it's anything but. But I'm very thankful for it though, because it was through that I actually realised that I was meant to write for kids.
I basically come from a community cultural development background where I'm interested in providing opportunities for disadvantaged communities and artists, really. I had my first job like that in the mid-90s after doing a traineeship in it, and it sort of changed my life because it brought my passion for people and my passion for art together. I've created the Cultural Arts Collective to, I suppose, take me on my next part of that journey, which is helping these artists and communities really flourish and get their products out into the wider mainstream community.
So I find areas like Blacktown or Mount Druitt or in western suburb so rich in that regard, that there's such brilliant talent is happening in this area who just needs to be explored.
I live in the area and I've been with the Auburn Artists Network and really just trying to get our art out there within the area and just letting people know that there is arts in Auburn.
I do play on the stereotypes of coming from the West, and you go up there, you say I'm from Liverpool, and automatically the audience goes, oh yes, from Liverpool, I know what you're talking about, sort of thing. And I guess just smashing through those stereotypes, surprising them, making them aware that Liverpool is much more than what you see or what you hear on TV or on the news and things like that.
There is a kind of sense of individuals really exploring where they're from.
This region's quite special because the thing is, to me, this region feels like family. I know a lot of the artists who are connected in this region. At the same time, whoever's new and emerging, we all, as artists, we always want to help them.
Well, one of the things that is cool about Fairfield is that we have such a variety of cultures and things like that, and everyone's they're pretty cool. they're pretty open-minded here.
For me, if I don't have my community, I would not be able to make my project. How could I make a film that has 100 of cast and crew in it? No way.
There are almost 2 million people now live in Western Suburb, and according to census, in next 20 years it will reach 3 million. And among those 3 millions, 1/3 are immigrant.
A lot of people here from Western Sydney have come from a different place. Perhaps their journey, I guess, is a bit traumatic, or it's really sort of hidden inside them. And I guess art is a great way for them to sort of let it out. What it means to be Australian and what it means to belong here, it's always changing. And I think, especially out here in Western Sydney, like if artists here are able to have a platform to express themselves, I think we'll get a clearer idea.
What sets artists apart that are working in Western Sydney is, I think, that they're less kind of motivated by the commercial things, and I feel that there is a lot more a sense of authenticity and realness, and I think also what contributes to that is that there seems to be a healthy relationship between emerging artists and more established artists. There's this kind of sense of people being nurtured through the arts, and which doesn't happen throughout the arts sector, and I think that's what sets Western Sydney apart.
I think this region, as much as it doesn't have a lot of the big bucks, by the same time it has this sense of like nurturing, and it comes not only from council, from artists, from institutions, but it's a big teamwork kind of thing to drive to let our stories be told.
I think it's just important to showcase again the treasures that we have out there. From interrogating a taxi driver, I found Karifi, the Ghanaian drumming group who live in St Mary's. And I've also found Asim Garashi, who's a world whistling champion, Sudanese Sufi musician, a doctor of music now, and driving a cab. So that can only happen in Western Sydney.
The one thing that we need in this area is just more kind of opportunities, like first-hand opportunities.
It's a constant kind of a life of writing grants and getting one and not getting like 20 of them. So it's really tricky, but I kind of have gotten used to it. I have to be quite strategic in the way that I spend my time.
So as artists, we always have to evolve. We have to be very ahead of the game. We have to understand the system so well, knowing that this is what the funding landscape is. This is where we want to go to. How do we use this small dollar to get there? And there are many ways to do it, and that's through community. That's where a lot of the people power can help drive projects and make it happen.
At the end of the day, we still got to get paid, because we got bills to pay at home as well. We got other things that we got to afford. We got to buy equipment, and we got to pay for our uniforms and our shoes, which are constantly being destroyed against the world. So we gotta pay for that kind of stuff, and then it helps when we get funding and sponsorships and that kind of stuff. It helps.
I think it's so important to invest in people in the community who are doing groundwork, to also develop skills with the community, and also for that sort of like cycle to continue.
I think the opportunity is there that we can create wonderful art and wonderful cultural content by creating these channels for our artists. And places like the Blacktown Arts Centre are doing that. They're looking towards their own communities and nurturing them along the way. There's only so much they can do as well, so we need state government funding to get in there and help create longer term projects.
The luxury to be able to be an artist, I guess, is sort of a bit hard in terms of like you've got to make a living somehow, I guess, so you sort of can't be an artist per se. You need that like a second job as well.
If I was in that position, I'd be more proactive, going, well, who's doing something out there? And it's not the officer's fault. It's always about who's managing and the political side of things anyway.
What always surprised me the most, being an educator, is that every time when there is a crunch for funding, then the art is always the one that gets the cut.
I believe these arts are just as valuable as English. It comes down to the simple math. Simple math is this. It's like if you love something, you're gonna work harder at it than something you don't love. and art just brings everybody together. You know, art just, like, you know, the world needs art.
I think arts and cultural development is important to me personally because it really does give me an opportunity to work with people that I normally wouldn't.
I think arts is important to the wider community just to showcase the wonderful cultural heritage that these people have. We've got wonderful treasures in our community that we need to showcase and you know, embrace this thing called multiculturalism, because I think diversity is a strength.
If sports is important for their physical growth, then I feel the art or visual language is actually essential for their intellectual growth.
I think that as artists, we have so much to offer and we're so important to the community. I think we don't just make things, we're actually looking at the world around us and really responding in thoughtful ways. And it'd be nice to get continued support, and I think that so much good comes out of that.
Who knows, in this area, maybe we have next opera singer, or maybe we have next big visual artist or a writer. And I think that the only way that could happen is that we don't want just a council center. We need a museum. We need a government-supported institution in these areas that would bring projects continuously, not just one-off.
One wish would be to have something like the New South Wales Writer Centre, but having it out here in Western Sydney.
I think it would be nice to see more support in the sense of organisations fostering and creating relationships between more emerging and established artists.
Having events to bring people together, to talk about their practice, to discuss about each other's practices, and even discuss about the system, what's going on. And then I think that's what is needed in this region for us artists in the community.
It would be great to have a fantastic contemporary museum in this area. I think we need that.
My wish would be to have a more proactive funding bodies, people who are interested to develop cultural content. Because at the moment I've got a sense that, you know, people who are winners, they're onto, but the people that need to be developed or, you know, shaped a little bit, or even just shown where the right places are missing the point.
And money will help. It will help us do what we do and continue to do what we do and continue to reach more people than we reach right now. We're already reaching so many people on limited resources and in a limited environment. So all these art bodies, all these investors and funding, you know, people, we want to tick all those boxes. You understand? They have boxes they need to tick. We want to tick the same boxes. If I could say anything to these people, it's like, come see what we do. Come down and witness firsthand what we do. I invite you guys. So, you know, come down to our city, meet our kids, see firsthand what we do, and tell me we're not making a difference in society.
For people to appreciate art as the heart of society and not just something that's an added extra.
But really it's about growing our own content from our own backyards to create a sustainable culture. It's like we need to, like these days everyone's into growing their own tomatoes because they're fresh and they're organic and they haven't got the pesticides on them. Well, the same with our art and culture. It makes for a strong culture, and I think that's where we need to be looking. We need to be planting the fertiliser.
It'll be wonderful for a kid to be able to say to their parents that I want to be an artist, and for their parents to say, okay, good on you, that's awesome, like we'll sign you up, we'll help you out. I think that's really great. I think half the battle is perhaps being able to tell other people that they want to be an artist.
Art does exist in Western Sydney and it should continue because it's something that really enriches the community, and I guess there's a lot of artists within the community that have something to say and have something to communicate, and yeah, it's just a great way to bring the community together.
Art is like a glue, you know what I mean? It's the glue of our society. It's what gets everybody to share ideas, inspiration, you know, you're able to influence people in positive ways.
I guess being an artist is more than a job, I guess. it's sort of come to within, and you'll always be an artist.